Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Daysi DIY. Today I'm going to share with you guys a beautiful home decor project. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. For our first project, I'm going to be using these small tags that I got this year at Dollar Tree, and I just removed that image from the top. I'm going to be using this free printable that I found on Google. I just searched on free printable and I found this beautiful image, and I just placed my tag on the top of that free printable and I just traced it with my pen. I just cut that image and I'm going to be using this Mod Podge, and I did first one coat on the back and I just put it to a side, and I did another coat on the top of that tag and I just placed my image. And once I placed it, I just went with my hand to smooth a little bit of that image, just to smooth a little bit of that wrinkles or bubbles. And once I was done, I did another coat on the top so we can seal that image very well. And the other thing that I decided to do before it was completely dry, I just grabbed a pen and I just went over on the top of that tag so we can mark the hole, so we can place a piece of jute twine so we can hang this beautiful tag. I'm going to be using one piece of this painter stick, and I'm just reusing the pieces that I have always on hand, and I just cut it to the side of the tag and I just use a sandpaper just to smooth a little bit on the edges. And I'm going to be creating half of the wood beads that I show you on the other video how I created and from where it came this beautiful inspiration. It was from Sammy Unicorn Dust Design, and I will link the video so you guys can see what she did. So I just grabbed the other piece and I just did the same step, and I just put it to a side and let it dry completely. And to paint it, we're going to be using this Waverly anti-wax. I just did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And with the same paint, I decided to distress it a little bit on the edges of the tag. And I'm just using the same piece of bad sponge, and it still have a little bit of the paint. And to glue the two pieces, I'm doing a combination of wood glue and hot glue. I always do this combination with the hot glue just to hold it on place, because the wood glue, it takes a little bit longer to dry, and that's the reason why I always use a little bit of hot glue. But if you're not in the rush, you guys can just use the wood glue or even the hot glue. I think it will work pretty well to hold it on place, the piece of wood. But I always love to use it for permanent hold, that wood glue. And I just grabbed a piece of this nautical rope. At the end, I just use a little bit of the hot glue so we can put it into the hole. And I just create a small hanger to the side that I think it was okay to hang this tag. And I just glue the two pieces together and I just cut it. I just grabbed the end of the nautical rope and I just went around a few times, and it turned out really beautiful, the hanger that we just create. And I'm just showing you how I created. It was really easy and simple to create. I think it will look beautiful too, just to use that piece of jute twine. And I just use my lighter just to burn all around of that nautical rope. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I love it, and especially what it says on the tag. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about our first project? For the next project, I'm going to be using this beautiful crust that I got at Dollar Tree, and to paint it, we're using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I just did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And the other thing, once it was completely dry, I decided to distress it a little bit with the Waverly anti-wax, and it turned out really beautiful. I'm gonna be using this beautiful piece of decor that I got at Dollar General, and I had it on hand, and I decided to paint just a little it's inside, and for that I just used that Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and I just did 2 coats and I just let it dry completely. The other thing that I did, I just used the Waverly anti-wax just on the edges so it can be a little bit dark, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And here's the part where I show you that I distressed with the same anti-wax the small crust, and it turned out really beautiful like I said before. And once I'm done, I just place it on the middle, and to glue it, I'm just using hot glue, but if you guys want a permanent hold, I think it's better to use Heat 6000 or either wood glue. I think it will hold pretty well. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really gorgeous, this piece. I love it, and it was really simple and easy to recreate. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this other project? For the next DIY, I'm going to be using this beautiful small plastic lanterns that I got from Dollar Tree. They come 4 in a pack, and I'm gonna be using a plastic plate that I had on hand. You guys can use any plastic plate that you guys have, or if you guys want to, you guys can get one from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna be using E6000 to glue it so it can has a permanent hold with a little bit of the hot glue, so it just can hold it into the E6000. It dries completely, and I use this spray paint on color black just to paint that plate, and I just cover the small planter because I didn't want to cover it with the same paint because I really love the color it had under. Or if you guys want to, you guys can be done with the project. It looks amazing already. I decided to grab these jewelry border stickers, and I'm gonna grab just a piece, put it on the bottom, and I went over with the Rust-Oleum paint to paint it. I just did one coat and I just let it dry. I switched with a small brush because on the edges it was kind of hard to paint it, and it was way easy to use a small brush. And once it was completely dry, I went over with a piece of sandpaper so we can just see all the detail that it had this small planter all around. Like I said, I really love the color it had under, so I just want the color to pop a little bit, and I went over with a little bit of the anti-wax, and it was the touch that I need. And also with the same anti-wax, I just went over on the top of the plate. It looks amazing already. If you guys want to, you guys can be finished with your project. I decided to give you a second option. If you guys want to, you guys can use the same Rust-Oleum paint to paint it. I didn't cover it all the way because I want the color black to show a little bit more, you know, because the plate, it has so much detail. And also I cover on the back of the plate so it can has a finished look. And with a piece of sandpaper, I went over just to on the edges so we can distress it a little bit more, the plate. And with a little bit of the anti-wax, I went over over just in a few parts, and it turned out really beautiful. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. You guys can place anything on the top. I just want to show you just with this greenery and with this candle that I got from Dollar Tree. It looks beautiful already. Or if you guys want to, you guys can place this beautiful planter on the top. And also the other thing that I did, I just grabbed a piece of ribbon and I create just a simple bow and placed it. For the next project, I'm going to be using a piece of wood, and I just covered the holes with a little bit of the spackling. And I just want to mention, if you guys don't have the same piece of wood that I have, you guys can grab a few pieces of the jingle blocks and you guys can create this simple and easy project. And to paint it, I just used the Rust-Oleum paint. I just did one coat and I just let it dry. And I decided to use this Craftwise chalkboard paint on color ink just to distress it on the edge. And once I was done, I went over with my pencil and my ruler to create this chiplet look that I love to create on my signs. And I create a few lines, and with a piece of paper towel, and it's a little bit wet, I just went over to distress it a little bit. We're going to be creating two side projects. I did the same step on the other side, and I used a little bit of the anti-wax, and I just went in a few parts, and you guys can see the wood under. I just love it once I distress it. And I use these beautiful stickers that I got at Dollar Tree. They're really beautiful. I just grabbed one piece and you guys can place it on the middle or in the side. I decided to place it on the side, and to hold the sticker very well, I decided to use a little bit of the Mod Podge so it can hold really well the sticker. And I grab another sticker to place it on the other side. And also you guys can grab like any greenery or any flowers that you guys want to place it on the side. I decided to use these rub-on stickers, and I just place one on each side, and it was the touch that I need. And I just want to show you on the other side, I just placed a few pieces of the greenery. And to display this beautiful two-side project, I just gonna place it on the top of the race. I just love it how it turns out. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this beautiful and easy project? Project, we're going to be using these mini ornaments that I got at Walmart, and I got it last year. And I just removed this small tag from the middle and also the bow, and I didn't want to remove this piece of foam because we're going to be reusing, and I just put it to a side. We're not going to throw those pieces away because we can reuse it for other projects. I just grabbed a piece of this on the back of the calendar, and I just cut this beautiful image. And also I grab a piece of cardboard so we can place it, and I just used these glue sticks to put it, and it was really easy. We didn't use Mod Podge this time. And also on the edges, I just used a piece of this jute twine so we can cover the piece of cardboard so it can has at the same time a finished look on the edges. I'm going to be creating a messy bow, and for that I just grabbed this lace ribbon and this black ribbon and a piece of this jute twine, and I just wrap it all around. I just create another simple bow made of this raffia, and I just use my scissors to cut it on the side, and I just place it on the middle. The other thing that I did, I just cut the piece of ribbon on half so it can be a little bit smaller, the bow, and I just grabbed the image and I just glue it on the middle of this small basket, and I just placed the small messy bow on the middle. The next thing, I just grabbed a piece of this craft stick and I just cut a small pieces, really small, so we can create a small crust. But I think it's way better to use a piece of these toothpicks. I think it's way easy to create it. And to paint it, we're using that craft wet chalkboard paint. I just did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And once it was dry, I just used the Restore chalk paint on color white, and I just went over just to paint it a little bit more. And with a piece of sandpaper, I just kind of removed a little bit of the paint and it turned out really gorgeous. This small crust, and I just used hot glue to place it on the side. The other thing, with the same paint on color ink, I just went on the edges just to paint a little bit, and this is how it looks. Our project, once we're done, it turned out really adorable and it will look really beautiful for a tier tray. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For our next DIY, I'm going to be using two pieces of these small craft sticks, and I just cut it to the side that I need to make my crust, and also on the edges I just kind of round the edges so they don't be straight, and I just glue it with hot glue. But if you guys want a permanent hole, I think it's way better to use wood glue. And to paint it, we're going to be using again this craft white chalkboard paint on color ink, and once it's completely dry, I just went over on the top with this Restore chalk paint and I just painted all the way. And first, I love to use a little bit of the paint, and once I'm done, I just go over again with the same paint so it can be a little bit more distressed. I'm gonna be using these shadow box that I got at Dollar Tree, and I just got this beautiful free printable that I found on Google to the site that I need, and I just use this glue stick and I just put it on the back of the image and I just place it on the middle. It was really easy to use it. If you guys want, you guys can use Mod Podge. It holds pretty well just with this glue stick. And once I was done, I decided to distress a little bit the crust with the Waverly anti-wax, and it turned out really beautiful. And to glue the crust, I just used hot glue. If you guys want permanent hold, I think it's way better to use E6000. And I just grabbed a few pieces of this greenery to place it on the bottom part of the shadow box. If you guys want, you guys can just leave it without the greenery. I think it looks really beautiful, this project. It was really easy and simple project, but I think it turned out really beautiful. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this other project? For the next project, I'm going to be using this crust that I got at Dollar Tree, and to paint it, we're going to be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I just did one coat and I just let it dry, and I didn't cover it all the way because I want the wood to show a little bit. Also, once it was completely dry, I decided to use this Waverly anti-wax, and it turned out really beautiful once I distress it. The next thing, I'm gonna be using this magnet decor piece, and I had it from last year. And I just placed the crust, and I think either way it will look really beautiful to place it, and I just use hot glue to glue it. But I'm thinking right now it's way better to use E6000 for permanent hold. It was really easy DIY, but I love it how it turned out. For the next DIY, I'm going to be using this piece of wood that I had on hand, and also I just covered a few holes that I had with a little bit of the spackling. And to paint it, we're going to be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and I just did one coat. And right now I'm showing you that I just paint this side, but I just create two side projects. So on the other side, I didn't paint it all the way because we're going to be using one piece of the calendar that I just show you on the other project, and I didn't paint it. I just create another beautiful small cross, and I just show you what I used to create it. And to paint it, we're going to be using this Waverly anti-wax, and I just did one coat and I just put it to a side and I let it dry. And here's the part where I show you that I didn't paint this side, and I just used a little bit of that Mod Podge to place that image, and I just did one coat on the top to seal the image. And once I'm done, I just put it to a side and let it dry. And once it's completely dry, I just placed the small cross in the middle, and that was all I did. And also at the last moment, I decided to distress it a little bit on the edges, and I think it turned out really beautiful, this project, and it will look really beautiful for a tier tray. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For our next DIY, I'm going to show you on the other side of that piece of wood that we just paint. I decided to create lines, and I just create a few lines, and with my pencil I just went over twice so they can be a little bit dark. And once we're done, with a piece of paper towel that it's a little bit wet, I just went over on the top just to distress it a little bit. And I just want to show you how easy it was to distress the lines, and they turned out really beautiful. The other thing, on the edges, we used that Waverly anti-wax to distress it a little bit. To me, it was just to clean the piece, you know, and you guys know that I love to distress all my pieces, and I know there's a lot of tons of people that they don't love to do this, so you guys can skip this step. I just grabbed a piece of this crafter square adhesive cord sheet, and I just kind of round the edges of the cord sheet so it can be a little bit round the edges. I'm pretty sure you guys can see in the video what I'm talking about. And also I decided to distress it a little bit, the edges, with the Waverly anti-wax, and I just peel out the sticker and I just place it on the middle. And once I was done, I just placed another beautiful beautiful crust, and I just show you on the other projects how I painted, and I didn't want to show you again because you guys might get boring to see over and over the same thing. So I just use hot glue to glue it, but if you guys want permanent hold, you guys can use it 6000. And this is how it looks, this project. It looks really beautiful, these two side projects. Do you guys have a favorite for this one? Please let me know in the comments down below. So that was it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every time that I upload new video. And please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.